welcome back to the Spider's Web, and in this video we're going to be doing a gameplay video. I'm really tempted in calling this series Watch It Played badly, but I think Watch It Played has already cornered the Watch It Played title, so I'm not going to bother. What I'm going to do instead is going to show you how not to play the 2 to 5 player game Pandemic The Cure. So, here goes. Okay, so as you can see, we've got the game set out to a point. We have our CDC tile, which we will need. We have our acute disease tile, which hopefully we will need. We have the treatment centre. We have the infection rates peg syringe plugged in. We have the outbreak syringe plugged in. And we have our, whatever they're called, our countries set out around the playing tiles, whatever you want to call them, set around the treatment centre. I've picked out 4 cards at random with 2 of the appropriate dice. I'm just going to go through the rules in this video, and then once we've got through the rules we will then start to play. Okay, I'm not going to go through all the rules. I'm going to cover the basic rules first of all, and then I'll go into more detail during the course of the gameplay. But the object of the game is to cure 4 diseases: the red one, the blue one, the yellow one and the black one. That's the way we win. The way we lose: we run out of dice from the bag of holding. The outbreak syringe moves across here and into the red tile with the skull and crossbones in it. The infection rate syringe goes all the way around and ends up in the red area with the skull and crossbones on it. And that's it. That's the ways to lose. So you've got 3 ways of losing, 1 way of winning. We also have different levels for playing this game. So the first 4 pegs is basically the intro area. Then the second 4 pegs is the standard level, and the third 4 pegs is the heroic level, so easy, medium and hard. Let's just zoom in, shall we, and see if we can show the infection rate marker in more detail. As you can see, if we start on intro, we go across there. When we get into standard, there's like a little explosion effect. This signifies something bad that happens. The bad that happens is quite simply that any dice that are in here get removed. At the bottom here you will see a number of dice. So here you have 3, here you have 3, here you have 3. Then we have 4, 4, 5 and 5. So if, for example, we're on there and we need to move the infection rate up 1 and we go into there, and we have 2 or 3 of these dice. Oops, I'll show you in here, the disease cube dice. If we have any of those in there, we don't just re-roll those, but we also take 5 from the bag and re-roll them all and infect our continents, countries, whatever they may be, around the board. Now, as you may be able to see, we have on each of these a number. Well, a dice, the face of a die rather. In this one it's 5, and for this one you will more chance of getting 5s on yellows and black, because on the black ones there is no 6. You have instead a 5. There are 2. Aha. So let's go from here. That is a CDC, that is the 1. Okay, and then if we turn it that way, you get a 3, we get another 3, and we get another 3. There we get a 5, and there we get a 4. Okay, so you have more chance of getting blacks on a 3. Okay, so these count towards how many dice, or what colour. Start again. These show how many faces of the dice have these colours. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3 areas in black on the 3 tile, which means that 3 faces of the black die are 3s. 1 face is blue. Is 1 face on the blue. On here, on the 6, you have 2 blues and 2 reds, which means that to roll a 6, you've got more chance of rolling a 6 with blues and reds. So each of these have a different face. Not all of these dice in the middle have a 6, as you've just seen, but as I say, 6 on there, and if I turn it 90 degrees that way and 90 degrees that way, we have another 6, just to show that I didn't make that one up. There we go. The outbreak peg moves up every time there is an outbreak. An outbreak occurs when, say, for instance, let's have a look, we have 2 red dice there showing a 6. We have a 3rd red dice there showing a 6. We have to roll again. We roll a number of dice, and one of those dice is a red 6. That goes on there. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. These tiles can only hold 3 of the same colour. We have an outbreak. So what we do for the outbreak is, first of all, that peg moves up 1. That die moves across to there. If there are 3 of the same colour dice here showing that number, another outbreak would occur and it would move across to the next space on the right, and so on. That is how you get the outbreaks. We have these dice, which are for the members of the CDC. All of the dice have a biohazard symbol on it, or would look like that rather. These are the dice that cannot be re-rolled. You get one of these, it moves this peg up 1. If you roll about 3 or 4 in one roll, you would move as many as you rolled. One of the characters ignores the first one, which I think is the grey one. Let me have a look, the generalist. Yes, the first biohazard you just ignore. Here are the scientists, the staff of the CDC. We have a generalist, we have a scientist, we have a contingency planner, we have a medic, we have a dispatcher, we have a researcher, and we have a containment specialist. They each have their own set of dice. The generalist has 7 dice, and they each have their own markings on the dice. As I say, we'll go through certain things when it comes on to gameplay. I can explain more as time goes on. Then we have the event deck, and what we do with the event deck is shuffle it. We would shuffle it, and then we would deal 3 cards out. Now, on these cards, for example, this one, Airlift. As you can see from the top, it costs 1 cross symbol. These cross symbols that you saw earlier, those ones, you roll one of these. The only time you don't put one of these in there is when it's the initial setup. During the game, whenever you roll any dice, like any of these normal or virtually normal 6-sided dice, and you roll the cross, you will put it in the CDC. Any dice that's in there goes to pay for the use of these cards. Once you've used one of the cards, obviously they are then removed from the game. As far as I remember, I don't think you reshuffle. I'll just have to double check on that, but I don't think you do. After an event is done, discard its card face down to the bottom of the event draw pile and immediately draw a new event and place it face up. Okay, so it looks as though you just run through them. I thought you removed them from the game. You don't. You just keep going and keep going and keep going. Okay, so they're the basic rules. The only thing I've not shown you yet is how to actually cure a disease. Now, on these dice you have, on all of them, a syringe. Some have 2, some have 3 syringes. What these syringes do is, we've got a 5, a 6 and a 5. Okay, so we roll, for example, the white character is on here. They've rolled, and they have rolled a syringe and one of these jars. Okay, so that is the die roll. Okay, what the syringe can do is it can use it to move a die from there into there, or from there into the bag. But if they're cured, we can send them from there into the bag. If they're not cured, you're better off having them in there, unless we're running very short of dice in the bag. So the syringe has gone to move that from there into the treatment centre. The jar then claims that to go onto the appropriate card. What does that do? Well, with only 1 dice, it does basically nothing whatsoever. You need at least 3 dice on your card. The reason you need 3 dice on your card is that you can only cure a disease by rolling, say for example, I've got a yellow one here, let's find some yellow dice. In fact, let's do black because they're going to be easier for you to see. So we've got 4 dice on our card. we roll the 4 dice. What we need to do, once we've rolled the dice, we need to add up the dice. So here we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We haven't cured anything because we need to score at least 13. The cross I don't think counts as a 1. Although I may be wrong. Crosses count as 0. So, there we couldn't have done anything. If we'd have got that, for example, 5, a 4 and 2 3s, we'd have done it. What we would then do is take one of these dice, place it on that card, so that we know that that colour has been cured, and then the other dice that you've rolled go straight back into the bag. Now I think that is everything. Anything I've missed I will go over in the first turn, but let's look now at setting up the game, because in the next video, or the next part of this series, we're going to be going over, we're going to start playing in the next set of this video. So I'm going to play the game in full, from start to finish, but I'm going to be stopping the video at the end of each round. I'm going to do it as a 4-player game. So, and I'm going to try and get my dice tower on the table and my phone at the moment zoomed in on the dice tower so you can see the rolls that we've got. But what we need to do is, I'm going to put these characters back, and I'm going to very quickly shuffle these cards. I'm not a very good shuffler, as you may be able to see. Okay, so the first player is the containment specialist. The second player is the contingency planner. The third player is the scientist, and the fourth player is the medic. Okay, so I'm going to put these here in front of me. I have the containment specialist, the contingency planner, the scientist, and the medic. So now we've picked our characters. They all start on here, number 1, because that is North America. I'm hoping you can see a difference in colour between those two. They look very similar, and I'm hoping the camera can pick up the difference. Okay, so we now need to find the appropriate dice. So we have the contingency planner, we have the containment specialist, we have the scientist, and we have the medic. So to put those back in, the next thing we need to do is put those away now, we do not need them again, is take out 12 dice from the bag of holding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I know I said I was going to get my dice tower out and my phone put on it, but at the moment I haven't got it out, so we're going to have to make do with what we have here for the time being. While I roll these, I'm going to get a handful, roll, that one's cocked, that one's cocked, that one's cocked. We'll roll these outside. That one's cocked, that one's a square. And that one's cocked. Okay, so we have our numbers. We have a 6, 3, 5, 1, 1, 2, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, 5 is not looking good. We have 3 blacks on 5. We really need to do something about that. But that's the setup. We have our whatchamacallit, we have our characters picked. We've done our first infection. We have our 3 event cards picked, CDC cards there. I'm going to show you, oops, I missed putting that 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, that's right. I missed that yellow one on the green. Okay, so we're starting on intro, just so you can have a proper look at how the game's played. There's no outbreaks as yet. But as I say, this one is not looking good, so we really need to do something about these black 5s. So when we come back, the game will start properly, and hopefully we can win it. Okay, so until next time, as always, take care, God bless, and bye for now.